Today on Cooking with Kev, we speak with Tracy De Beer from Love in Action, a non-profit organisation run by volunteers in Gunoobi, East London. Born through vision in Gunoobi Baptist Church, the organisation seeks to extend a loving hand through good works. Welcome.
Through this, they will know that you are my disciples, through the action of loving one another. This is the biblical scripture upon which the humanitarian organization Love in Action was founded upon. Through their feeding schemes, they seek to encourage the needy, clothe and feed the hungry, and through a basic skills and training program, seek to help the unemployed gain some skills to become more employable. Sawubonani, dumelang goeiemôre. My name is Kevin Narrators, and today we have the honor of speaking to one of the volunteers, Tracy De Beer from Love in Action. Welcome. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples through loving one another. That's a beautiful scripture to actually start a foundation organization upon. Tell us more about LIA, Love in Action.
Okay, so LIA, L-I-A, stands for Love in Action, and that is our foundational scripture. Would you like to know how we started? Is that a good place to start?
Anywhere you'd like to start.
Okay, so we have a lot of men that wait up and down our Gunoobi main road for work every day, and most of them are unsuccessful. We get to the end of the day, and they are still sitting there. And that has always broken my heart. So my husband and I would randomly, not at any kind of structure, make a pot of soup, stick it in the back of my little car, drive up and feed these guys soup and rolls. Then I said to my pastor, could we not make this more structured and have it on a particular day every week so they know we're coming? And that is exactly what we did. Every Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, not here where this building is, but up towards the school, we would meet with whoever came to volunteer and hand out soup and rolls and feed them as best as we could. And that's pretty much where it started. But into that, the Lord started building more and more ideas. I mean, if you look around you and see the building and all the other projects that we're involved in, to have come from a soup kitchen 4 years ago is absolutely phenomenal. It really can only be His work. The guys started asking us for clothing. So we're cold, our children are cold, how do we get clothing? And that reminded me of what I had seen in Cape Town a number of years ago, U-Turn Ministries, where you could give homeless people a voucher and they could take the voucher to a warehouse and redeem it for food. But we didn't go the food route, we went the clothing route. So
I just want to zoom in that quickly. Why was it that you went into the clothing route rather than the food route?
Because you all kind of, if you ever ask me in this interview the question on what is our greatest need, food is our greatest need. So we've got a little storeroom at the back here where we've got non-perishable foods. And when the guys work for the food, my husband puts together food parcels for them to take home. But that is definitely our greatest need. So we didn't say to them, okay, if you bring a voucher, we are going to give you food, because on more than one occasion we don't have any food. So we went with the clothing instead. They can work for the food because the food is limited, so that's another thing we offer them here. So firstly with the voucher. Okay, so the voucher idea is that people in the public can buy the voucher for 10 Rand and they can give it to whoever they like. It can be a working person, a non-working person, you can give it to that person and they can come to Leah and they can choose clothing. There's always little snags along the way. U-Turn were phenomenal. I got their contact details. I went to them in Cape Town and found out how it all worked. I got the guy's contact details, and for the first year I must have phoned him every week. I must have said, what are they? What's it doing? We know, for example, that some of the guys are coming to get clothes and then they're selling the clothes. There's not anything we can do about that. So we try, the voucher idea works, but it brought in the next idea. We thought, okay, so instead of just being given a voucher, how about you work for that voucher? So we clean the streets, we clean the beaches, we've got a few weed eaters and we weed eat on the side of the road and do a lot of things that the public appreciate, which is also the other side of a good coin. And it's a morning's only job, so they start at 8 and then by 12:30 they're all done. We give them something to eat and then they can take clothing. So they're actually working for it, which is one of our other slogans. You mentioned our main scripture, but one of our other slogans is there's nothing for nothing except God's love. Everything else you must do something. You've got to try and create a work ethic. You know, not just stand with your hands out and say, I'm poor, help me. Try and create that ethic of I'm prepared to make an effort to do something about it. Yeah.
On that note, this week we had some very sad, sobering statistics in South Africa, where we have almost a 56% or 57% unemployment rate in South Africa, more specifically of the youth. And one of the things that people struggle with is the motivation, the encouragement, the self-control of doing something. And we know the jobs in South Africa are very limited, but how about entrepreneurship? How about painting? And I think that is what a lot of people are struggling to get to. And by reading your website and some of the things you do, I saw that you guys are involved in teaching basic skills. Tell us more about the skills development program that you guys are running at Leah.
Okay, so currently, that was the next step, was to identify people that would be here every time we had a work group. The same people were here in a sober frame of mind, literally just looking for some sort of help to support themselves and their families. Then we started to get to know those people. Do you have a skill? What kind of skill would you like to be involved in? All of that kind of stuff. So the half mess behind us are the sewing classes, where the cotton and the material and everything else, those were the women that wanted to learn how to sew. You know, God, he is just phenomenal. I had a lady phoning me, I didn't know from a bar of soap, and I'm really busy, so I'm at the school in the mornings where my paying job is, and then this in the afternoons, and she would be phoning me and saying, I need to meet with you, eventually I said to Rika, I made so many and broke so many appointments because I was just too busy. I have to go. We met at the Wimpy, sat down, and the first thing she said to me, she said, I really feel the Lord is telling me I need to get involved in Leah to teach ladies how to sew. That was only another idea in my head. We didn't have a sewing machine, we had nothing. It was like, this is so phenomenal, I can't believe it. The very next day we were donated 3 sewing machines. We didn't have a sewing machine, so it's all getting put into place. Our ladies in the front, where I would have no qualms at all about if Leah had to close, and I really pray that doesn't happen. But by writing them CVs to go and work as front of house ladies in Woolworths or Ackermans or anything, they know exactly what they're doing. They did not know before. My husband's paint company, either the guys have come being painters already and we've discerned that, or we've taught them how to paint, like Ace, Us's man. He didn't know how to paint before, but Sweetman has taught him how to paint, and now he has that skill. We had a guy, I found him a job at Ganubi Primary on our ground staff, because that's where I work, Goodman, so he's getting a really nice salary, and he's paying Provident Fund and UIF and all the things that were not happening for him before. Ethel, a lady who is just a domestic lady, she cleans, but she is awesome. And up the road in 10th Avenue, there's a municipal old age, it's called Sunnymead, and it's a municipal old age thing. Those people that stay there are really, really poor. They haven't got much to think. So Leah pays Ethel to go and clean there 3 days a week. Little cottages, and there's an old man named Con, and he's got a roster, and he sorts it all out. And so that's job creation for Ethel, and many, many ladies. I get many phone calls from ladies that say, we need somebody to work in our home, or we need a nanny, and they are wary to just go and take anybody off the street, and understandably so, because of the crime, and they don't know what they're getting. So lots of ladies have come through the Leah system, where they've got to work for us first. At the back, not this side, which is really grotty, but that side, there's a bathroom, there's the kitchen, and then Brenda will oversee them cleaning to make sure that they actually know what to clean. I mean, there's been such sad stories. A hearing of a lady, only 19 years old, but just desperate for money. She's going to clean houses. She gets there, the lady who owns the house says, okay, here's the key, I'm going to see you, I'm going to work now, please clean. And Stella doesn't know what on earth she's meant to do with anything. They're putting a sheet down underneath the mattress. So the mattress, put the sheet on top of the bed, and then put the mattress on top of the sheet. Not knowing, because they're not sleeping on the sheet. Using the shampoo to clean the shower, instead of using the handy Andy to clean the shower. So we try at Leah to kind of work through those first, so at least when they go, because there must be nothing worse than, I found a job but I don't know what on earth I'm supposed to do, stand there panicking. If the guy's going to pay you money, he's going to come home, have I actually done what I've meant to do? Because nobody has ever shown you what you're meant to do, So the domestic training. But our big thing, and this is still in the pipeline, and my one trustee phoned me this morning and said, "Oh, come and have coffee." I said, no, I've got an interview, and I still thought maybe I should ask him if I should say this yet. But another idea was planted in my head about 2 years ago, also can only be from the Lord. We have lots of men that walk up and down these avenues in Geneva, and some of them are up to no good, unfortunately. And these security firms that are around Red Alert, whoever, have said it's hard for them to identify who the guy is that's up to no good and who the one is who's literally just walking to see if he can find work. And into my head came this idea. If we can find a venue, a proper venue, and we could make what at this stage we're calling an employment depot, but it may change, where they can come instead of waiting on the road. Because today's a nice day to wait on the road, but some days it's not so nice. It's windy and it's raining and it's bitterly cold. They can come and sit there and wait for work. We can encourage the public to come there for their casual labour instead of getting the guys on the side of the road. And we could have it as an enclosed area. We could get to know these men and women, and if it gets to lunchtime and they haven't been employed yet, they're not likely to be employed. Nobody gets employed for the second half of the day. Then we could feed them, and we could build with job creation and all of that kind of stuff. Then the guys on the road, in the street, if Red Alert says to them, "What are you doing here?" and they say, "We're looking for work," they can say, "No, this is not where you're going to find work in community. You're going to find work at the employment depot. Go and wait there." Really feel sorry for the forgotten man. The man that everybody just turns their head and drives straight past because it's easier not to look at him. And not to imagine that man who's been sitting there in that rain and that cold and that whatever from 6 o'clock in the morning, way before work starts, on the off chance that he's going to get work, walking back into Umzamongli at 5 o'clock in the afternoon with nothing. And his children and his wife are waiting for him, and here comes Dad. And Dad's got nothing. He's got nothing to offer them. He's got no food to give them. He's got no future to offer them. That man, that is the one that really, really breaks our hearts. That is the one that we want to help. And we've seen it happen. We've seen him turn up here and walk out of here at 12 o'clock. He's got a big, we don't give a food parcel like this. We give a big thing where he's got to have like a big carrier bag to take it home. And his shoulders are back and his head is up and he's going home that little bit more proud of himself. Like a man should be for his family, you know. And that's the one that our hearts break for. Absolutely. Yeah, and there's no other. People often ask me, "Grace, how can you keep doing women at work?" Oh, because I run around like a mad thing and I'm planning Leah things in the hall and I'm asking my boss if we can use the hall for this and that. And they go, "Don't you ever run out of energy?" I don't. Well, how not? Why? Because of Jesus. There's no other option. There's no other answer. It's Him and Him alone that keeps us going. You know?
I'm so humbled by your spirit and also how you've used your religion as a motivational factor. But there's so many other people that might be watching that have good hearts but do not know how to get involved, maybe because of fear or whatever the reason might be, but just they do not know how to get involved. Could you maybe just for that one person encourage them and maybe give them some advice on how to get involved with giving back to the community, showing love, or even how to get involved with Leah?
Well, okay, so like my sewing lady, Nicoline, if you have something in your heart that you really, really feel this is something you want to do, then do it. Come to me, bug me until I answer that telephone and keep an appointment. Or if it's something that you can do on your own, then just start doing it. And because I'm telling you now, there is nothing in this world, nothing that will make you feel as great as it does is when you help another human being that is so in need. On the Leah front, behind us, you'll probably see a ton of newspaper and maybe, I don't know if it's in the shop, but these plastic bags. We're making the temporary sleeping bags for the homeless. I don't know if you've seen that on our website. But we're partnering with another NGO called Clean Slate, an amazing man called Brian who has a heart for homeless people. And this is not invented by us. This was started by a lady in Cape Town, Jo Maxwell, and she's been making them for 8 years now. And the guys on the street in Cape Town, bitterly cold weather, this is helping them to survive winters. It does take a little bit of PT, like sorting the newspapers, and that sticky tape is really hectic. But we're having our second sleeping bag day at Geneva Primary on Saturday the 10th in the hall, and as many people as want to must come, because we did 2 weeks ago. We ended up making 50 bags, and the more the merrier, quite frankly. We handed those out in a heartbeat. We took them, well, I didn't, Brian and my husband took them into Southernwood. I was babysitting that night, and they put a heads up to the homeless guys, and they came and they gave them soup, and then showed them how to use the bags. They are temporary, they won't last forever. But Leader Packaging, with their amazing hearts, have sponsored all this plastic, and it's all recyclable. And Daily Dispatch gave us the newspapers, and so that's something we need big help with. I've got a couple of LO kids coming in, and I've said to them, yes, please, the newspapers, because it is very time consuming to make those bags. We partner with another lady called Talita in a new branch of Leah called Letters of Hope, and this is another thing, it just makes my heart sing. This was her idea, but we did it. We put letter boxes into Geneva High School, into the toilets, into the boys and girls toilets. Then she spoke to them. She has an incredible testimony of growing up in the most insane environment. And she told them her story, and she said, please guys, don't sit without asking for help, post a letter. And they posted letters, and she's got 10 children that she sees, and we've brought in another lady who's seeing 6, and that's growing already. And they counsel them to see home abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, all of that kind of stuff. And the best thing for me, and you'll see them on the Leah site, I've posted some of them, we've taken the names off for the children, but if you see how it is helping them, and that for me is also love in action completely. We've also got a couple of people behind us, and in case we need to take it a little further, sometimes the abuse is more than we are qualified to deal with. But that is also okay. We've got legal advice, and we've got police, and we've got it. So if we find something that's really, really bad, we are in a position to say, okay, we need to help this young person. But that is growing really, really fast, and that's the Letters of Hope partnership with Talita calls herself Inspired to be Fearless, which I promise you, if you heard her testimony, you would know exactly what that means. So that's also been such a joy to work with. I'm the admin. I do all the admin, because being NGO, PBO, and all the other O's and B's and things that you can think of, we have financials drawn up by charters and bonds once a year. So bank statements and paperwork and slips and all money coming in and going out needs to be accounted for. So I do that. Any fundraising that we do as well all has to come through the system and go back out the system, and I'm the one that has to be accountable for all of that at the end of the year. So yeah.
I'm completely humbled by what you do, the accountability, the giving back, the teaching.
Yeah.
You put a new meaning to teaching a man how to fish so that he can provide for himself, and not just himself or themselves, but their family as well. Thank you so very much for doing what you're doing, and I pray that God will continue to provide for you and Leah to continue the work that they're doing. I also believe that you're putting a new meaning to the word Ubuntu and working together. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Umuntu, Gumuntu, Gubuntu, Gabantu. Yes, we are saying that I am a person through another person. We're realizing that we're not an island, but the love we have, we can show it practically. If you've been touched by the story of Love in Action and would like to get involved with him, do not hesitate to make contact with him on the details on your screen. Until next time, God bless and stay beautiful.
To get involved in any of our stories or to obtain any of our recipes, head over to our socials. Until next time, we rise by lifting others.